there's a lot of discourse of the craziness of Obama's career. Like, basically had a 20-year political career, not even really.
No, wait,
Uh,
he's what one-term senator?
right. So it's basically 2 decades. He left office and he had a 60% approval rating, and then that was it. They called it a day. Called up Netflix, got a tight deal. Recently opened a gigantic library that costs like $1 billion, and that's not an exaggeration. I think it literally cost $1 billion.
Yeah, and
Uh,
what, in Lincoln no, Lincoln Park? No, what's it called?
uh,
It's in
yeah, yeah.
Chicago.
I think it is
Is
Lincoln.
it Lincoln
Or
Park?
I'm not a Chicago
No,
person.
it's not,
Lincoln is a thing in Chicago. I don't know if that's where it is, but
it's, Obama,
I'm not a big fan of the architecture of the building. It's not my taste, but I don't know if you've seen it. It's a little
oh god.
asymmetrical.
Asymmetrical puts it kindly, it's a bunker.
It's kind of there's an island off
Oh
of
my god, this
Right.
might be the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Welcome to the Predicted Podcast, where we analyze the news through prediction markets. I'm your co-host, Jacob Studwell, here with Garth Yuckham. Garth, how are you on this fine Monday?
I'm doing great. I don't know about Fed Chair Jerome Powell, but I'm doing great.
We will definitely get to that. I have to start off by gloating. Late last week, I saw a Semaphore article on Republicans undecided on the Democrats' war powers resolution. I checked in on the market, which is, will the Senate vote to restrict the use of force on Venezuela by February 27th? When I
Yep.
checked, it was 11 cents. And I thought, 11 cents. I saw it was really John Thune that made me really think about he said he was open to arguments, essentially,
Mhm.
open to voting both ways. Collins was interested in voting a certain way, which you can never necessarily take at face value. But I said, 11 cents, that's definitely a great opportunity. So I bought. You can follow our Twitter account at Predicted Pod on Twitter, on X, whatever it is. And so I took $100. I threw it at 11 cents, which for a potential of, it was 900 shares basically. So a potential for $900 or $800 of profit. We then saw voting on the resolution to get out of committee. It passed 52 to 47. The market
Yep.
then spiked really quickly up to I think it topped off at about 92 cents. So
Correct.
huge increase there. I got a little scared right after the vote. I saw that Trump called Susan Collins to, I guess, curse her off. Was that? I think
Oh,
that was.
he called everybody who voted for it. I mean, he didn't. Collins wasn't the only one. Everybody got reprimanded
Yep,
by
yep,
Papa
yep.
Trump.
Susan Collins said on X basically, "Oh, I guess he's interested in Janet Mills taking over my position." A little shot of Graham Plattner there, I guess. But we did see that pass, and it came out of committee, so we will see a vote on the floor of the Senate this week. The market has actually gone down a bit. We're now at 79 cents for the yes. I think I'm actually going to hold here. I do think this is going to pass. I think Congress sometimes shows you just a little bit of guts. I think this
Yeah.
is the moment in which they're going to tell you, you know what, you do have to come through us, or at least the appearance of you have to go through us to go to Venezuela. I'm not convinced that President Trump will follow suit and say, yeah, you're right. We have to go through Congress to do anything else. That's not really his way.
No, it's not. And on top of it, I think the calendar is in your favor. And it's related also to the shutdown. But now that the Senate has done this and put this as one of their top priorities, they have this week to do it, and then next week they're off, another vacation. Woo! And then the
Vacation.
week after that, the House goes away. So there's not going to be a lot of time for chit chat from between the two chambers when everybody's both on Capitol Hill. So I think that's working in your advantage for sure here. And yeah, it's interesting. It's gone down 10 cents, but it's a little bit of low volume, a little small shift
Yeah.
here. But I think you just definitely scored a big one on this one.
You know what? I could sell right now and take my gains, but I, for some reason, just kind of want to dance on your grave a little bit and wait it out.
It's
So,
fair. I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
you know what? I really thought you were going to get on the board first when you took will the government shut down by February 2nd. No, you took that at 70 cents. It's now at 81 cents. So you're doing well as well. I think we're both things are working here. I believe in you more than ever on this trade. I definitely don't think the government is going to shut down, even though there are many vacations. It was, I think the Senate's off next week and then the House is off at the end of the month or something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it works. And so again, what's interesting is this kind of works a little bit against me, I think. Though the House did pass, they did through a resolution last week. So they've kind of pushed this into the Senate negotiators' laps, and they have to kind of do something. So it should be interesting this week to see how the Senate balances this Venezuela priority and, kind of limiting Trump's powers to a certain degree, and then also the full need to do something about funding the government.
Yeah. You know what? Congress can really only focus on one thing at once. So I don't have hope, but maybe they'll get through some things quickly. We'll see. We'll see. So I do want to celebrate Predictit's new mascot, the I Told Saurus. Go check that out on YouTube. We're going to see Mary Peltola, by the way, just announced that she's running for the
Yep.
Senate after winning the singular at-large House race in 2022. So that'll be super interesting going up against that Republican incumbent
Yeah.
and really good.
Senator Dan Sullivan. That's going to be a good race. That'll be interesting, I think.
Very interesting.
Sullivan really hasn't had much of a challenge, like a good challenge for quite some time. So that's going to be a good race, I think.
Yeah, so we'll definitely discuss all of that good stuff on the podcast next week. We're going to do a full primary schedule overview, go through all the dates, when to tune in, when not to. We do see in Alaska specifically, again, that those House races translate perfectly over to Senate races just because there's only one House district here. So if you win the state once, you could probably win it again. Peltola did lose recently. Well, I guess in 2024 at the coattails of Kamala's run there, but it'll be interesting in Alaska. I do want to shout out again. I Told You Saurus, go check it out on youtube.com/@PredictItOfficial. So please go there. Follow us there. We have lots of visuals for the podcast on our YouTube channel as well. So just wanted to shout that out by name. Garth, let's keep it moving. I do want to discuss news out this weekend that Steve Bannon is quietly preparing to run in 2028, going to shake up the market on the Republican side. We don't yet have Steve Bannon listed, but it will be very interesting. Allegedly, Steve Bannon wants to move the conversation and basically move the debate over to populism, isolationism. He'll be kind of a single issue candidate. Some of the reports were that he wants to combine certain kind of isolationism with like Elizabeth Warren type financial or economic policy, which is really interesting because there were also reports that Elizabeth Warren wants to move the conversation on the Democratic side in 2028 as well. So
Oh
lots
man.
of existing old faces, you might say, popping up for 2028. What do you think Bannon's ceiling is for the 2028 race up against the monster, which is JD Vance?
I mean, it's definitely a lot of message testing. I will say that. It's seeing what sticks, throwing things early on. I mean, it's 2026 right now. We got plenty of time until then. What's his ceiling? A couple cents max, 2, 3 cents. I mean, he's an advisor. Nobody sees him as a serious candidate, but maybe, he'll get himself a job from this message testing, and at least maybe he'll be brought back into the fold. We'll see, but I think maybe his time is probably done as a true MAGA warrior here,
Yeah.
or at least in the shade of red that is currently in the White House at the moment.
Yeah, it feels like this America First policy has really gone by the wayside with, first of all, I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene really represents that same flavor, and she's obviously been kicked to the curb, as well as Steve Bannon for the Stephen Millers of the world. We're now
Hmm.
invading Venezuela and looking at Greenland, which we'll get to in a second. But we want to be everywhere. We actually are back to the neocon ways of being America's police force, picking and choosing the people at the top in all the other countries. So I think Steve Bannon just kind of wants to move the conversation and say, no, we actually do need to focus on domestic issues, which might be very popular in that Republican side of things. I do think he can be merged into another campaign. He can maybe get a VP job potentially, or maybe just a top advisor on another ticket is more likely. We'll see how things shake out. I don't know how he plays with the other candidates. Like, how does he play with a Ted Cruz? I don't know if that is like a match, a fit, but we said a lot of this stuff with Trump a long time ago. How does Trump play with all these other people? And they all hopped on the bandwagon. So success begets success. We'll see where he lands uh, in the upcoming conversation. You know what? Maybe he won't launch a campaign at all. Like you said, Garth, this is early testing. Throw your name
Yeah.
out and see what comes back. Essentially, right?
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, and he's one of those guys who doesn't have a job title, right? I mean, running around Washington, doing this, doing that, running around Europe, doing this, doing that, consulting here, consulting there. Yeah.
He'll take what he can get.
Exactly.
All right. Then we move to a very serious topic because this is affecting the world and the markets at large. We're gonna get to the Fed. Basically, Garth, give us an overview of the situation with President Trump and the Fed.
Well, I mean, it all kind of broke loose yesterday when Fed Chair Jerome Powell came out and released a 2-minute long video statement, a strong statement, basically calling out the Justice Department and President Trump for interfering with the Fed's independence. It's a really big moment, I think. I mean, there's a lot been going on, obviously, with the Trump administration in general. Trump has had his fair share of kind words to say towards Powell and his interest rates, and yet, what is also interesting is the Powell has been kind of the one pushing to bring down rates the last 3 meetings, and has been one of the key drivers here. Trump, asked by reporters yesterday, simply said, well, I don't know anything about this. You should talk to the Justice Department. And that sounds odd, because Powell has, bit his lip for a very long time. He hasn't taken the bait, and his message last night was strong.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this gets into the questions of, who Trump is supposed to pick next. There's Powell's term ends May 15th, but he has a Board of Governors seat that will last until 2027, 2028, I think. So he could easily, gum up Trump's plans in the Fed for the long term. I
Mhm.
mean, they're playing with fire here, I think, the White House. And, anybody who decides to take this job, I mean, Trump says he's got down to 2 people, might be 3. The market's priced at 43 cents for Hassett and 42 cents as of this morning, right now, as a recording for Warsh. You know,
So 85% chance that the new Fed chair will be named Kevin. So that's cool. That's good to know.
that's a plus. But, does Kevin want the job? I mean, if this is what the White House expects from the Fed, do you want that job? Is that job
Yeah.
worth it?
Yeah. I
You
don't
know,
know.
if
He's gotten so many other people to do his bidding at, again, the top of the Justice Department, at every other cabinet position, and they're all fine with kind of, gun to
but
their
but there
head
was
type jobs,
but there
right?
was no criminal indictment. You take the job, and you don't do what I say, and here's a criminal indictment. I mean, he hasn't done that. He's fired people. He's moved them on. But not with the threat of sending them to jail, at least that I can recall.
Right.
So this is a serious, serious escalation of what was effectively a war of words and a pressure campaign to try to kind of effect monetary policy.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, it's the Comey treatment, it's the Letitia James treatment of just full threats of, some kind of indictment there. But I really did want to discuss this, not because it necessarily affects that who will be the next Fed chair market directly, or at least like it doesn't affect who will be it. Like I think those
Well,
Kevins are
well,
still under his thumb,
I
right?
know I don't think so. I mean, Tom Tillis came out and said he's not approving any Fed appointee until this is resolved legally. I
Mhm.
mean, I know he's retiring and all, but you are not going to have a Fed chair for how long?
Right.
I mean,
And
because Tillis will be in office until what, January next year? Or no, January in 2027. I think it's a rough one. I think they've bitten off more than they can chew.
it's definitely a rough one. We'll see how this actually materializes or evolves over time. Again, the markets do not love when any Fed independence is threatened. This is like
Yep.
the bedrock of an economist's nightmare. Essentially, is
Yep.
a Fed that is completely in the pocket of the politician. I mean, the whole point of the Fed being independent is that it can make independent decisions. Otherwise of what a politician is looking for in their economy and trying to run a campaign, right? Say Trump always wants, rates to be lower so that the economy speeds up and that
Right.
the really great economic indicators going into his later years in office, going into the midterms, going into, JD Vance run in 2028. And then that can spiral into overheated economy, into massive unemployment. It can precipitate long term into things that don't happen short term. So this is the reason why economists really get spooked when the Fed's independence is threatened. So it's really important for things outside of a specific predicted market, but I'm sure it will affect lots of other markets going forward. Garth, let's keep the ball moving. I don't know if you had one more comment on.
No, I was gonna say I think that the trickle down effect here is gonna be quite significant across. I mean, you could see any of the predicted markets, whether it be, as you said, JD Vance in 2028, the midterms, the seat count, House, Senate. I mean, uh, it, yeah, I mean, it's a cascade. It could turn into a waterfall effect across the markets here in the coming days and weeks.
100%. All right, let's get to our main topic of the day. It's a little heavy, so I call that the shot. And usually you take the chaser after the shot, but in our case, I really want to lighten it up a little bit. So let's take the chaser before the shot. Let's start with our one of our newest markets. Will Trump visit Greenland in 2026? Right now, the yes is at 44 cents, and the no is sitting at about 56 cents. Naturally, because math. And what do you think, Garth? Trump's going to make it over to our large military base in Greenland this year?
Oh man, that's a great question. Vance has already been there. Rubio is meeting with Denmark and Greenland officials this week. It was announced last week. Could be a signing ceremony. I could see it. I could see it happening. You know,
Totally.
the Greenland's come up first in 2019, I believe. There was a public discourse about buying. The U.S. secretly tried to buy Greenland after World War II. There is a strategic aspect to Greenland, even though it is covered in ice and not so green. A bit of a misnomer there. And we do have plenty of bases there. So I don't see why not.
He loves the show. I love this bias for
Exactly.
investment. You know what?
Exactly.
It's so much. I'm throwing $100 on Trump to visit Greenland in 2026. Make it official. Give me a little stamp. Trade executed. Good stuff here. You know, I do think again, as we move into our main story today, he will probably make it to Greenland, but that's what we have to discuss. The market, will Trump leave office early? Now, this is one of those where you might want to actually read the rules. There is an actual supplementary comment in the rules. So let me just read the rules really quickly for will Trump leave office early? Again, it's a simple yes or no question. This market shall resolve to yes in the event that Donald Trump resigns from, is removed from, or otherwise vacates the office of President of the United States. The supplementary comment is in response to trader inquiry. In the event that President Trump does not remain president through the regularly scheduled end of his current term on January 20th, 2029, this market shall resolve to yes. It's basically clarifying the otherwise vacates question, right? We didn't say necessarily what happens in the result of a Trump death, but it is implied that if he does not make it to January 20th, 2029, this shall resolve yes. Right now, the price of will Trump leave office early is 40 cents. That is a 40% chance that Trump, for any reason whatsoever, does not make it to be the president January 20th, 2029. This should be, I think, a headline everywhere. This is not a easy, oh yeah, I would have thought, yeah, 40%. That makes sense. Chance that Trump, I think this is a chance that Trump passes away. And I don't take this market lightly at all. This is a very delicate subject, but you kind of start to cross out all the other reasons why Trump might leave early. I don't think resigning because of scandal is an option here. We're definitely past that. You know, and maybe the 20, I think it's the 25th Amendment is another option here.
There's another option. I, the more I think about it, there has to be a possibility, or at least traders are definitely considering the Republicans do so poorly in the midterms that they get enough support. Maybe not. I don't know. It's
I'll just be honest, Garth. It
the
really
impeachment thing.
like this is a pure, Trump passes away play here.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, especially after what happened with Biden, the cognitive, decline. I mean, there's so much time on the clock in this regard,
Yeah,
if you
there
will,
is a
and
lot
it's
of.
not exactly an easy job. Not very stressful at all.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm. You know,
so
that thing surprisingly, like once I saw 40 cents, I was like, oh my God, I'm really interested in the other side. Like, no on 60 cents. Cause again, we're crossing out all the other
Mhm.
options. But if you look at the actuary tables, I kind of think 40 cents might be like a little accurate. Look, I'm not a health insurance guru here. I don't know much, but I do know that there's been a lot of questions about Trump's health. There have been very little answers. We see bruises on his hands
Yep.
often. The main piece. There actually was some discussion recently. He did something weird at some cabinet meeting recently. He kind of just stood up and like looked out the window and kind of looked longingly at the White House lawn, which was kind of just a weird thing that someone noted is something that people do at the end of their life. Look, I really do not want to speculate too much more than that, but it is important for everyone to understand that right now, markets and traders are looking at this market and saying it is a 40% chance that Trump does not finish up his term. And if that's the headline that is plastered everywhere, I think we'll all be better for it, knowing that this is a real possibility. This is a larger possibility than Trump winning in 2016. Okay. This is, the
Yeah.
markets are very bullish on this possibility. As sad as it might be, we want to stay very objective here. This would throw many things into chaos. This is not good
You don't
for
say.
any country, for any party. This is not good for anyone. I assure everyone that. Okay, we can see through the crystal ball, but it's really important for people to understand what the probability and likelihood of this is.
Yeah, I mean, it still doesn't mean it's gonna happen. We should be very clear in saying that. I mean, a 40% chance. I mean, even markets that are at 80%, chance, it's a 4 and 5 chance. I mean, there's still quite considerable amounts of leeway in the markets here of an event actually happening, and obviously the market's going to react to the news that's available right now, and it's just a snapshot in time right now, based on what's going on, based on what news has been presented, what videos have been presented, what's going around, in the sphere of the web. And yeah, I mean, it's an interesting the way you've laid it out. I mean, I feel like I got to be buying here, and it's just to say take the other side. I mean, it's like I
Agreed.
feel like free 40 cents, but at the same time, you know, I've lived through the last year, 2 years of Trump world, and you can't rule it out, can you?
2029 is just very far away. Is the real problem. Like I would jump on the 60 cents. I actually really like the no here, but it's a little too far away to say, yeah, I could be comfortable with sitting on this position for 3 years. It's just
Sure.
it's more than 3 years actually right now. I mean, it's January
Yeah.
12th right now. So
Yeah. And then Trump is just the uncertainty that surrounds Trump around Trump world is just
yeah,
like, yeah, it's so long. 3 years is so long.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, any pick me up before we leave on that dour note?
Another darn note.
This is why
No.
you do the chaser after the shot. This is exact. So
Yeah.
you don't do one of those.
Yeah.
No, Trump in Greenland. Go to Greenland. Let's
Let's go to Greenland.
laugh in Greenland.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to the Predict It podcast. Really appreciate everyone following along on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, on youtube.com/@PredictItOfficial. And we'll catch everyone next week. Everyone have a good one.
All right.